Lord, as we again come in and we see the changing of the seasons, God, that it just reminds us that you are a sovereign God that has everything under control and you are still on your throne. I just come to you thanking you, Lord. My heart is for the people in California, Lord, with the shooting. That there's just no explanation, God, and I just ask that you be with the survivors, be with those families, God, comfort them. Lord, with the fires that are going on out there also, Lord, I just ask that you keep those people safe. But everyone in this room, Lord, in the sound of my voice, I just ask a special blessing upon them, God, that you be with them and their families. I ask that you be with this board, Lord, to give us wisdom because it's ordained by you. Government is, and I just ask that we always look towards you for our wisdom, God. Right now, I ask that you forgive us for when we fall short of you, Lord, because we're just sinners before you. But you have sent your Son so that we can have eternal life through him with you. I just ask you in Jesus' name, amen.
David, please pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll call meeting to order. Brandy, would you be
Commissioner Hartline,
Here, man.
Commissioner Toller,
here?
Commissioner Foster,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
At this time, before we get into the rest of the agenda, I want to recognize some of the newly elected officials. And Kent Hitz, who's going to be a commissioner, and Lance Eisenacher, County Clerk, David Goodall, Matt Small.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, at this time, next on the agenda is approval of minutes.
You gonna do one at a time? Or you gonna do both?
Everybody had a chance to check it out. We have, these are budget. We have October the 22nd, 2018.
I make a motion we approve October 22nd, 2018 minutes as written.
Second.
Commissioner Hartline,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. We also have a special meeting on the budget on October 24th. So everyone had a chance to look at those. A motion.
Make a motion we approve them as written.
Second.
Commissioner Hartline,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. Next on the agenda is building permits. Kevin's not here today, and he said there were no building permits.
No building permits.
To present to the board, so. Next on the agenda is county finances, and we don't have anything this time on that. Under old business, we have resolution to transfer 2018 budget appropriations. We're gonna have to table that for the next meeting. And while I mentioned that, the next regular meeting is gonna be on the 23rd, is that right?
Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday because of the holiday. Okay, next on the agenda under old business is discussion on the budget for fiscal year 2019.
21st.
The 21st?
Yes.
Okay. Stand corrected, it's 21st. At this time, Kevin doesn't quite have his ready. Probably have a special meeting sometime early next week, probably, for him to present his budget.
That's the only one we like, right?
That's the only one we'd like to do. Under new business, Approve payment of bills report. Everyone had a chance to look at those.
Make a motion, we pay our bills.
Second.
Commissioner Hartline,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Boyd.
Yes. We don't have any time for executive session. Are there any committee reports? Is there any other business?
The only thing that I would like to bring up, for the board to look at is, we mentioned, something about the audit in the last meeting about the IMRF audit. And I know there's been some questions, and I think it would behoove us and the employees and the retirees if we would, compile some information and send a letter to the employees and to the retirees, because I know that in the last meeting, we said that it would affect some of the retirees and the employees on what's going to happen. And I just think that we should send an informational letter to let people know, first of all, why we had the audit, what was found in the audit, and we can refer them back to the website to look at the findings of the audit, but then let them know also what corrective action we have taken and what corrective action we're waiting on, so that, because I think the unknown for them is, they're thinking they're going to lose money or gain money, or they don't know what's going to happen. So I think that we ought to send out an informational letter to the retirees and to the employees, just letting them know where we're at and what's going on. Because if they're receiving nothing but hearsay, that's just going to create confusion and the unknown. So I think we ought to do that, but that's up to the other 4 commissioners also. But I think that we need to compile a letter and send an informational letter out.
I'm fine.
Might follow up with an actual meeting.
Yeah, and that would be wise too. Of course, that would be Angela and Angie meeting with the employees or maybe the retirees, just to let them know what's going on. Because I think right now the confusion, and especially we're looking, and I can't find out, I don't know, but undoubtedly Jackson County has had some problems, and then everybody starts speculating, and then this snowball gets bigger and bigger. So I think that we need to stay up with them and let them know what's going on.
It's a good idea.
I'll just make a quick comment about the Department of Justice grant that the county sponsored and the school districts are going to receive. All the paperwork was finalized this week on that, and there'll be a meeting set up with the school superintendents to go over that probably Thursday next week. So
That's good.
that's working out. Are there any public comments?
Yeah, I'd like to just take this time to thank Danny Hartline for his service, 6 years of service on the board. I'd like to congratulate Commissioners Gould and Miller for winning the election. And I hope that the new board will, once assembled, will keep the best interest of the county in mind.
Thank you.
Bobby,
Mhm.
I had somebody ask me in the community about, and I didn't even know this used to be the case, where building permits, are they still, and I didn't look. She said they used to be on our website and they're not anymore, and I don't know why. But I just wondered if she told me to ask, and I have no idea if they were and had been before and they're not, or if that's a change in policy or what. I didn't know anybody would care, but she does.
I don't know if they're working on it.
Yes, it looks like that they used to be on the website in prior years, and funny that you asked that because we're working on the new website with Mayor, and that's one of the things we went through and looked at what hasn't been updated, and Wendy in the treasurer's office just pulled those all the other day, so they'll all be put on the website here
Okay,
shortly, and actually we should be really close to launching our new website soon.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was supposed to report that we have been, our senior boxes have been increased by 15, starting this month. Trucks coming in Monday.
That's for the Shawnee development.
She said we could have got more, but we didn't have any more qualification.
Yep.
I'd just like to second what Tom said. Thank you to Mr. Hartline for his service, and congratulations to Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Gould, and Commissioner-elect Pitts. And I think that it was a hard-fought election. I think it was, most of all, good-hearted and good competition, and I just hope that we can all get past all these things in the election and let's move forward and do what's best for the county.
Yes.
I just had I have a comment. I thought it was wonderful that the county union surpassed the rest of Illinois state as far as voter turnout, and I thank everyone who was in this room that came out to vote. But I did want to bring up, we did have some problems in Cobden where people had been removed from the rolls. I guess notices have been sent to them at their home addresses, but so many people in Cobden in town do not get mail delivery at their home. It goes to their post office box. So those notices were returned here to the county. So I had 3 or 4 people come up to me and they were upset. Now they could come to the courthouse and vote that day, but they were upset that that had occurred. So I wondered if there was a way for the clerk to maybe follow up with some of those, I don't know if they kept a record of what was returned, or if there could be a notice placed in the paper to let voters know. If they have a post office box, they really do need to check to see if they still, because if they didn't come in to vote and they have a post office box, they may still not know that they've been removed from the polls.
May I make a comment about that also?
Yes.
We're looking at voter rolls as a person here. A lot of people have the post office boxes on it, but a lot of people don't. And in my mailings, I had the same problem being bounced back. So I think maybe we need to let people know to check their voter registration addresses. Now, you have to prove where you live, but you got to go back and actually prove where you want your mail sent. Now, I've got, 300 people on my list, and I usually get like 20 or 30 bounce back until I find out, oh, Tim Clover has a post office box. And then I put the post office box in. But that's the same problem that they had here with the closing down of certain, on that postcard thing back and forth. So I think it's a very valid point, because I'm fighting the same thing all the time.
Did you?
When we did the purge, we sent voter registration cards to everyone in the county. So when they came back, the post office would put a yellow slip on them and either be insufficient address unknown, or no forwarding address. So those we had to suspend because we wasn't for sure if they actually do truly live at that address. Now, the post office can put the PO box on there, but this time they didn't.
They don't.
They
Well,
did not.
But it's the whole thing. Our
Yes.
postage is going all the way to St. Louis.
Yes, and that is the problem.
That's where the problem is. Locally, we never had that problem before, because,
Yes.
here's Tim Clover at something Mountain Glen Road. Okay, it's post office box 12, and I'll win. Now, it goes to St. Louis, and we're at the mercy of the machine.
And we noticed with the ballots that came back this year, it was very slow. Some people in the same family would mail the ballot the same day. We would get part of them. We wouldn't get the other part until 3 or 4 days later. Because it would just be in with St. Louis, and I don't know what it was doing up there, but
Taking a holiday.
Yeah, it wouldn't come back down to us, so that was a problem. And plus, we have to get the ballots out by 2 o'clock for Jonesboro to get them before they can go to St. Louis. Anna's is 2:30, but we're in Jonesboro, so with our postage machine being in Jonesboro, we have to get them to Jonesboro. So there was a problem for that too.
Are there any other comments? If not,
Motion, adjourned. Second.
Commissioner Hartline,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Keller,
yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Tell me that one right.